Hi, we'd like to introduce you to Wilqo and Charlie, our solution for mortgage lending, a production optimization platform. Charlie is not just a point of sale or a loan origination system. We optimize mortgage production with an integrated, holistic solution. Remember when we got into the mortgage business? We helped borrowers get into homes, we attained that dream of home ownership, and we helped them save money with refinancing. That should be fun, right? We're doing good work for good people. But the reality is that it's a slow, frustrating process with disjointed systems and built-in inefficiencies that drive us crazy. Why is that? System's broken. It costs too much to manufacture a loan. The latest MBA figures show over $11,000, which is just not a sustainable solution. Everyone is frustrated with the process. Borrowers get some generic document request from a point of sale. Then we ask them for different documents when we look at them more closely. Staff is frustrated because they have to wait for the file to reach them before they can even start working on it, even if they have some capacity while they're waiting. And our industry is always on that roller coaster of increased and decreased volume, so we're always playing catch up with staffing up or staffing down. And it just takes too long. Car loan takes an hour. Why, after all these years, it still takes over 30 days average to get a mortgage closed. How did we get here? Well, as many of you remember, we used to do all this by hand with paper and typewriters. Loan officers gathered a whole manila file full, then plunked it on the processor's desk. She did the same, added more, then plunked it on the underwriter's desk, and so on. Then came computers and loan origination systems. But we just digitized the old paper process, paving over that same old goat path. Time went on, we needed to support more functionality, like online applications, automation, now even AI. But all we are is bolting solutions onto that old car on that paved over goat path, our legacy 30-year-old LOS technology. And what's the solution? Get off the road, get off that goat path. And that's what we do here at Wilqo. We are reimagining the whole process without being hobbled by old technology. Because the LOS is the problem. You're limited in your innovation and efficiency by that 30-year-old technology. We feel there are two major symptoms causing a lot of our inefficiencies in the mortgage process. The first is what's known as talent misalignment. We're pushing all the work to our most experienced, generally the highest paid person, when much of that job can be done by a lower skill set at a lower cost. The second symptom is being forced into that inefficient linear workflow where I have to wait for the originator to finish 50 things before a processor can finally pick up the file and get started on her job, because only one person can be in and working on that file at one time. So I'm standing on the truck waiting for that guy in front of me to run all the way around before I can even start my run. The manufacturing process of a mortgage is generally made up of multiple tasks, like verifying employment and assets, reviewing appraisals, etc. What we do is break all of those tasks down into what we call atomic level activities, because within each one of these, you've got some easier tasks and you've got some tasks that need some more expertise, represented here by the greens, the reds, and the blues and browns for the more generalized type of knowledge. The greens represent the easiest, the red represents the most experienced, and the browns and blues require some basic industry experience. If you look at something specific like an appraisal review, the easier tasks are stare and compare. Is the appraisal signed? Is it dated? Is it the right address? Is it the right borrower's name? Then you've got some parts of the review that need a little more experience, like making sure the pictures match the description, noting any discrepancies in the property type. And then the analysis comes in, where experience is really required to evaluate that report, ensuring that the value is supported. Right now, we push this all up to generally the most experienced guy. And that is what we call talent misalignment. Not only is this a cost issue, but it drives down your efficiency. And this is why our underwriters are averaging 2 to 3 new underwrites per day instead of the 5, 6, or 7 that they used to do. This problem is pervasive in all of the different manufacturing tasks that we have. So right now, your most experienced person is doing each one of these tasks, no matter the difficulty. But what if we started splitting out the simple stuff from the expert stuff, and then assigning those to the right expertise at the right time? So now you can bring in someone like a task specialist. This can be an entry-level position, some kids out of college. Teach them just this one part of the job, like data input or review certain fields on an appraisal. Then you have your more core people who have some experience and can do a little more of the in-depth work. And then your most experienced person is saving their time for just the analysis. But look how much we've taken off their plate. This is how you accomplish multiple purposes. First, bringing new people in, getting them trained up quickly and easily, and also getting our underwriters back up to those 5, 6, 7 new underwrites a day. And what if we start automating parts of these processes? And we think that about 30% of all of these tasks can be automated, as represented with the yellow here. So then we start taking more out of that process, and this becomes a very efficient workflow. This is how we use automation to reduce errors and our reliance on the staffing up and staffing down model. This is how we can bring new people into the industry when we need them as task specialists with a quick training process. And this is how we keep our most experienced people from wasting their time on the activities that don't really need their expertise. This is how we go from the current standard of talent misalignment to putting the right work in front of the right person at the right time. Let's talk about the inefficient workflow currently dictated by our legacy LOSs. This is the classic moving the whole lump of a loan file from one desk to another just digitally, where I might be sitting and waiting for that whole loan file to hit me. At Wilqo, we came up with a better way to manage your loan manufacturing workflow. A key component of this is what we call our datagram. This isn't just a collection of all the data about your loan file, but also your processes. It captures which activities got triggered on a loan, how long the loan sat around before someone started working on it, who did that work on the activity, and so on. So whenever a field in the datagram changes, that update can start serving as a workflow trigger. It might trigger automation, like ordering a flood cert. It might trigger a notice to the loan officer to call that borrower about getting flood insurance. It might trigger a new condition to require flood insurance. It might trigger a fee, like a special processing fee because it's a co-op in New York City. And then it might trigger changes to the page, the actual page that the user is using, based on the details of that loan file. Now, although the engine that powers these triggers isn't technically artificial intelligence, it truly is going to feel like that to your users, because it's going to take that linear process and turn it into a parallel process so that it is a workflow optimized for efficiency. With Charlie, we do that by putting everyone in the loan file at the same time. The borrower, the loan officer assistant, the underwriter, the closer, the processor, and they can all be in the same loan file, working in it at the same time simultaneously. This allows everyone going from that inefficient workflow, waiting for someone to run around the track, to all of us running around the track together and getting it done in a much more efficient process. So how did we get here? Our founders. Ty Jenkins founded DocuTech, which digitized mortgage documents, changing the nature of mortgage lending. Larry Huff and Yvonne Darius took those paper rate sheets and spreadsheets and turned them into a digital pricing engine. Jeff Benjamin had sales at Ellie Mae for 19 years, sure knows his way around an LOS in the mortgage industry. Why do we bring this up? Because these are not Silicon Valley guys who jumped into the mortgage industry. They're mortgage industry people who have already solved for major issues in the lending process. Our leadership team shown here is an incredible group of industry professionals. A successful business is built with people who have worked successfully together in the past, and all of our leaders have worked with each other at successful organizations. So our solution brings everything together in a way that's not been accomplished before. You don't need a bunch of disparate systems bolted onto 30-year technology. We combine everything into the holistic solution of a point of sale, an LOS, actionable intelligence, real task-based workflow, true automation, and more that combines into our production optimization platform. So it's not the technology spend that matters the most. It's less hiring up, less experienced people, fewer errors and less rework, better investor and sale experience, fewer cures on loan files, and a quick training period and a shorter lock-ins that give you better pricing. This is how you materially change the bottom line. The inefficiencies are being driven by your current LOS. And your solution is Charlie. Thank you for your time, and we are so looking forward to showing you this industry-altering solution.